Welcome to the Week 8 edition of High School Lowdown. For Ernest Boker and Jet Bird, I'm Steve Wilson. St. Aloysius hosts Resurrection, and St. Aloysius, with 37 players on the roster, is going to have to do without 3 of them.
All right, they've had some knee injuries the last couple of weeks, 3 players gone. And that's really a double sword. You know, we've seen Porter's Chapel go through that, so a lot of the smaller teams go through that, where you lose one player, it's like losing 2 or 3. You lose a guy on offense and defense and special teams. So it really just multiplies on itself. And
Resurrection is a team kind of in the same boat as St. Al. They've kind of been up and down.
Yeah, more down than up. They're a young team rebuilding. Only their 4th year to have a program. Just like St. Al, only 3 seniors, and they've only won 1 game this year. So this is kind of a good game for both teams. You know, you kind of play a team on your level and get a chance to maybe pick off an easy win.
Porter's Chapel hosts Silva Bay in their annual homecoming, and last week was kind of a party of a different kind, with Peter Harris having what I would call a big-time coming-out party.
Like I said, just how good of a game was it, well, Peter?
Peter Harris's kickoff return, the one that really got them into the game when they were down 10, was one of the most incredible pieces of running I've ever seen in a high school football game. He zagged, he zigged, he zagged, and finally at the goal line he made this really nice jab step, took it right in, and the PCA crowd went nuts. And I think it was Jonah Masterson's brother Josh, the offensive line, that said it kind of lit a fire in everybody and it burned in their hearts, and you could really tell that it really got them back in the game. And Silva Bay, of course, is kind of struggling at this point, so they're kind of facing what I consider a very hot Eagles team.
Yeah, they're 2-5. They do return their best athlete, but like I said, Wade Patrick said that he really liked how 2 guys stepped on this defense last week. Sam Kirk and Hunter Lyons both stepped up and played a really good defensive game, allowed them to stay in the game and allowed Peter Harris to do what he did.
Warren Central hosts Madison Central, and what I would almost term the most important game of the century so far.
Or, at least the last half century, since we're only 12 years in. Certainly the biggest game for them in at least 5 or 6 years. Warren Central, last time they beat Madison was 2005. Madison's pretty much owned the district.
35-2, I believe.
In the last 5 years. So, if you can go in and knock off Madison Central, that's a huge, huge statement for Warren Central.
Well, my conversation with Coach Josh Morgan yesterday was talking about how they have their normal triple option attack, which is something to see, but they also can spread out and go 4 wides. How hard is that to stop when you got a team that can do either or?
Right. I mean, it's you got to defend 2 different things. You have to have different personnel groups. You got to be mindful of two different ways they can attack you. And that's something Coach Bobby Hall over at Madison Central has really done a good job with in his time there, is adapting to his personnel. When Tobias Singleton was there, great receiver a few years back.
Now at Jackson State.
Correct, and formerly of Ole Miss. They did a really good job throwing the ball. He was a big play threat. Then he left, and they had some more guys geared toward an option attack. Great option quarterback with Drew Roll, big fullback with Hugh Warren. And they ran that option to perfection. And now it seems like maybe they have a hybrid of the 2, and if you can play both of those angles, you're going to be really tough to stop.
Well, I talked to running back Aaron Stamps and offensive lineman Gary Williams about the matchup and about their recent offensive resurgence. I'm Steve Wilson, and I'm here with Warren Central running back Aaron Stamps. Aaron, you guys have one of the biggest games so far for you guys. How excited are you about suiting it up against Madison Central?
Very excited about the game. If we play our hearts out like we did the last 2 games, we gonna win this game coming up. Madison Central, they have a good team, but we got something for them this year.
Well, you guys have been on a good run. You've been able to establish the running game thanks to a stout offensive line. Talk about the job that those guys are doing, blocking and opening holes for you.
They blocking good. We practice on it real hard at practice. Coach always get on to them so they can do better. And then we just got to find a way to block hard Friday night so we can win this game.
I'm here with Warren Central's right tackle Gary Williams, and Gary,
What's been the key to you guys' success in the past couple weeks? You've come out with big region wins over Northwest Rankin and Greenville West.
We just have to establish running the ball, work hard in practice, and be successful.
Well, you have a huge game coming up against Madison Central, and you got Murrah the next week, but obviously you guys are focused on Madison Central. What's going to be the key for y'all getting a victory this Friday?
We have to have the most rushing yards at the end of the game. Our defense has to stop the run, and we can't allow any big plays.
Well, you got a great stable of backs. Aaron, Greg, talk about what they bring to the table and how hard they've been running and how much that helps you guys do your jobs opening holes for them.
All our backs are hard runners, and it's easy to block for backs when you know what they're capable of doing.
Vicksburg hosts Greenville Weston, and last week Vicksburg had a loss, but they had a loss of a different sort.
Lost your best player, and that's always going to be so hard to overcome. Tavares Johnson Jr. broke the tibial bone in his lower leg and will be out 4 to 6 weeks, which is pretty much done for the year. The good news is Marcus Pickett will take the job, and he ran the team in the summer while Tavares recovered from the broken foot that he had in the spring practice. So he should be able to run what Tavares Johnson Sr. wants to run on offense, which is hand the ball off to pretty good backs. They're getting better on the offensive line. The best thing about last week, the defense finally showed up. Was the best game of the year, and Tavares Sr. told me said we had a 4th and 1. We finally stopped somebody.
Thanks for tuning in to the Week 8 edition of High School Lowdown. For Jeff Bird and Ernest Boker, I'm Steve Wilson. Be sure to check out all the happenings at VicksburgPost.com, including scoring updates every Friday. And you can also follow us on Twitter for scoring updates. That's Vicks Post Sports, and that's VIX Post Sports. Thanks, and have a great day.